Hey, welcome to this video training presentation. My name is Savraj Ora, and I'm the owner of a company called Distro Channels and another software business called Distro List. We have a number of opportunities available at the moment for people to come and work with us under our umbrella. And so the purpose of this presentation is to actually provide you with some free training, not for the sole end purpose of you working with us. This is actually going to be something that you can use in your own business. You're gonna learn a pretty simple, straightforward formula that I have used to make a lot of money over the past 20 years. And like the title of this presentation says, what I'm going to teach you today is how I did $800 million in sales using distribution channels and how you can make a ton of money following the exact same strategy I did. And you can do this without a personal brand. You can do this without paying for ads, and you can even do it without having your own product or service. It's pretty powerful, but it's also really simple. It's why I can teach it to you in like this. I think this is going to take around 45 minutes of your time. To be honest, once we've kind of gotten on the same page and we have some kind of an alignment, like you understand where we sit, where our philosophy lies. If you want to go away and take this information and apply it in your own business, so be it. And that's fantastic. At least I've added some value to you. But equally, there is an opportunity where you can work with us. And that's really where you can take some of the teachings that I'm going to show you here and actually apply it into the role that we have available. So this is a really nifty way for us to actually educate people for the roles that we have available. And equally, if you want to take it away and put it in your own business, you can do that, just that. So without further ado, why don't we start? Okay, so today, in this very short time that we have together, I'm going to share my actual experience for how I transacted 800 million plus over the last 20 years. In fact, it's been longer than 20 years now, and it's actually been more than 800. I'm going to share with you the plan, the execution, and the math that I actually used, which you can actually embed into your own business. And that includes a live demo so you can see it in action. And I'm also at the end going to, like I said, I'm going to give you an offer to work for us, or work with us, I should say, so you can get off the ground and start making money fast. And it's not a training course that I'm about to offer you here. The offer is for a self-employed independent income opportunity. It's not a training program. I want to reiterate that. The opportunity is more akin to how you would work with like a real estate agency. I mean, you'd be working for yourself under their banner, right? It's an independent income opportunity, but there's a roadmap that you follow, like a sequence and a structure, and we're going to share that with you if you choose to actually work with us. So this is really the opportunity itself that I'm going to present is it's really for those people who are looking for that side hustle. The side hustle that can make you between 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 on the side. You could actually consider joining us as a part-time distro agent. It's a very simple strategy where you can start earning extra income quickly, very quickly, almost immediately. And when you get out, when you get good at it, you can transition into a full-time role and you can 10x that side hustle earning potential. But it's, we're going to ease you in. There's a way in which there's a structure we have in play. But like I said, before we get into that role available, as promised, I'm going to give you a free training. So speaking about time is money, and I'm going to need around 45 minutes from you right now. If you don't have that time, I'd say stop. You'd be wasting your time. You won't get the value. Just realize that if you navigate away from this presentation, the way it's set up, you're going to lose the opportunity to watch it. I'm not sure how easy it is for you to actually, reload it if it's a webinar, if it's a sort of a VSO on a page. I don't know how it's going to be presented just yet. So I would say put your phone down, close your other tabs, and tell people around you to buzz off if you're serious. So with that said, let's get to it. Now, all you need for any of this to work, there's no pre-qualification necessary, but you do need to be motivated. You do need to have drive, and you do need some hustle. And I assume you have some of that because you're here watching this now. You are looking for opportunities. So I'm assuming I'm going to hazard a guess that you do have the motivation, drive, and hustle. So the question I have for you though is, are you going to actually put the effort in to make this work for you? So that remains to be seen. So let's do a quick little bit of housekeeping. Look, I can't guarantee any specific amount of money that you can earn because I don't know what your exact situation is. And I don't know what it is that you're going to sell or who you're going to be going after, who you're going to be selling it to. But what I can guarantee is that I'm going to introduce you to the same framework that I used to transact 800 million. And believe it or not, it's actually quite simple. So I don't think the learning curve is going to be that significant for you. So the question I have for you is, why are you here right now? I've got a number of questions actually. Which one of these applies to you right now? Are you struggling to set up your own and grow your own business? Are you barely making ends meet at the moment? Do you want to work for yourself instead of somebody else? Are you in a constant state of financial discomfort? Look, I've been in a position where every single one of these statements has applied to me multiple times. Are you actually doing something you don't like right now? You're just kind of making ends meet, just check collecting when you go to your workplace. And of course, are you tired? And this is the best too. Are you tired about hearing of money-making secrets you don't know about? I know I'm tired, right? Every time I turn on YouTube, there's somebody sharing a secret, right? And also, are you fed up of reading self-help books and watching training programs about success and business? I know there's only so many hours your brain can actually tolerate watching training videos. I've done training videos, but I hate the whole idea of like being another Me Too business that wants to provide training out there. I just feel like it gets a point where you just need action, right? There needs to be a recipe. Give me a sequence to follow. Just let me do this thing. So my question is to you: what's holding you back? Is it because you don't see a clear path? Is it because you're worried about being stretched too thin if you take on a new opportunity? Are you worried about the risk in regards to costs that are involved? Is that scary? Because starting a business up, whether you're following a recipe or you're following a training program, sometimes it requires a lot more from you apart from just paying the training, right? You have to pay for all these extra things. You have to pay to launch your business. You might not think that you have the right experience. You might think it's going to take way too long to actually get to the point where you start making money. And equally, going it alone and might frighten you. And entrepreneurship is a solo venture, especially at the outset. You can maybe team up with a buddy or so, but the truth is, when you really make the conscious decision to go on this journey, it is a solo decision, and it's way more risky than sort of just taking on a new job, for instance. So a lot of people might find themselves in a situation where they'd probably rather accept the comforts that they have now instead of potentially risking losing it all. And that kind of holds people back, even when they've been given the trainings. So I get that. I do understand if that's one of the things that is holding you back. But this is where things start to change, right? What if you had a model that was a simple recipe, like an algorithm that you can follow, a sequence of steps, a recipe, like a cookbook that you could follow, where there wasn't any upfront investment for inventory, kind of like those MLMs out there. Hey, if you want to join us, buy a bunch of this stuff, or Amazon drop shipping, or that kind of stuff. You have to buy a ton of product, right? Not drop shipping, but if you're going to, Amazon FBA, you have to start warehousing stuff. Well, and of course, a lot of the time, you need a lot of digital marketing experience. I mean, how many times have you seen people talk about funnels and that type of thing? So there's no digital marketing experience necessary here. We're not asking you to set up any kind of funnel or learn how to deal with a pixel and pixel tracking and all that kind of stuff. Where there's no learning curve required too, to actually become profitable. No long learning curve. So you have to learn something, but it's not going to be like this elongated thing where you have to learn how to code or whatever. And so you can actually start making money today with just a few hours of work. And of course, the best part is that you don't actually have to do it alone. That kind of ties into the way you can structure your business with the plan I'm going to share with you. And also, if you decide to work with us down the road, because you'll be working with us. So you have infrastructure, you have a support network around you. So this is really what I can share with you today as the path to success, is to have a model that can hit these points here. So that's the good news. The good news is that I'm actually going to give you that model right now. But there's a couple of rules when it comes to business. For you to actually make money in business, there are 3 rules. Rule number 1 is that you do have to have something to sell. You don't need your own product, but you do need a product or a service or an offer. You need to have something to sell. But then rule number 2 is you have to have people to sell it to. And rule number 3 is you've got to you figure out a way to make rule number 1 and rule number 2 actually happen. So the good news is rule number 3 is where this recipe I'm about to share with you comes in. So quick backstory, because you don't know who I am, and I feel like the need to very quickly qualify myself to you. This is my first office when I graduated from my apartment, when I upgraded. This is a very small office. As you can probably tell from looking at it, it's actually a coat closet. In a nice building, in a really prestigious area, located in a really prestigious address in London. It's 62 Grosvenor Street, Mayfair, London. It's my first office, in a basement, in a closet. It was extremely hot in there, but I made it work in there. I learned how to grind in there. I built what I call a business that focused on building distribution networks and distribution channels for other companies. And that was it. That was my little IKEA setup there. So that was how I started. And it was, I didn't have anything handed to me on a silver platter. And I spent the first 10 years figuring out how to make money with distribution channels. I didn't spend 10 years in that office, but I spent like six to 12 months there, I believe. I very quickly upgraded, was able to employ staff, and I started making a lot of money. And when I made money, I bought stuff. Okay, that's what you do. You're a new money person. You start raking it in, and before you know it, the first thing that comes to mind is all those things that you dreamt of that you could buy. I want to start buying this car, this watch, go on that vacation, pay for first class, all the rest of it. You do it. Honestly, it does get old pretty quick. Because you realize these things are expensive, and then even if you're making a lot of money really fast, these are pretty big purchases. And anyway, the point I'm making is you kind of have to experience this as you grow and as you become successful. But let me tell you, from someone who's been there, done it, got the T-shirt, it gets old. But either way, you can make money and you will make stuff, and if you follow my strategy. And that's exactly what I did. If you have this new money, you start to do this kind of stuff. And then I actually spent the next 10 years doubling down on my skill set and actually really becoming a master of my craft. And actually, that's where I started to really rake it in. And I actually sold over $800 million in transactions, in sales, over that period of time. And so here's like my corporate structure in terms of how I set this up in the past. My company that I started back in 2010 was Core Agents. And that's where I really transacted the 800 million. It was through business consulting, financial marketing, alternative investments, and real estate. So I was essentially partnering with businesses that already had an offer, whether it was alternative investments, real estate, financial marketing, and then we would essentially figure out who it was that they were selling to, but I'll get into that. I actually then set up a private equity company along that journey because I really wanted to get involved with actually building of structures myself or management of large corporate real estate. And that's what I did. I got into the commercial real estate sector, selling parking lots as a hands-off asset-backed investment. Really good business model to be in, was very successful at the time doing that. But private equity is a reason why big businesses run private equity. I didn't really enjoy it in the end, because once you've actually got these things, there's a lot of like nitty gritty management that I just wasn't really happy with. Anyway, the present is my current company, Distro Channels, which is basically a rebrand of Core Agents. Distro Channels is really focused, instead of financial marketing, alternative investments, and real estate, we actually focus Distro Channels, same process, same framework, but we focus it on e-commerce and distribution and B2B wholesale. And by the way, what I'm about to teach you in terms of the framework is going to be exactly what I've been doing at Core Agents there and Distro Channels. So you're going to learn what made those two businesses very successful regardless. So that's the good news for you. I also built a software platform. And so this software platform is pretty cool. I'm going to show that to you too. And it's literally an influencer library of over 250 million influencers, so creators, people who have public profiles on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we provide ways to really filter this audience or the influencers based on their audience demographics. And we can provide very deep, in-depth audience analytics as well. So it's a really cool software that's live at Distro List. I'll give you a sneak peek on that too. And of course, I, like everybody else out there right now, I had to start a podcast, and we call it the Distro Boss Podcast. This is really where I document my journey. I have podcast interviews with early stage founders, affiliate marketers, network marketers. You'll see what the alignment is there later. But I'm always looking at sort of understanding, viral networking, network effect strategies, and I think the conversations are useful for me. I mean, it's a relatively new podcast, but it's growing significantly. And if you're interested, you can always check that out. But that's what I do right now as far as the present. Oh, and I also self-published a book. Right over here. You might see it on the camera. That's the book. It's actually available on Amazon. And I mean, it's a pretty good book. It's really what I'm about to share with you now as far as the teaching is concerned, but I kind of unpacked it over a longer course and really generalized it to be accessible for everybody who wants to read it. But of course, like there's no real Like I said, it's generalized. So it's not like I'm going to give you right now. What I'm going to give you is a really direct route to market. Okay, I'm going to give you a recipe and a specific way in which you can conduct some of the teachings that are in this book. But that book is available to you should you want to find it. It's on Amazon, self-published. It's not like I can say to you it's a New York Times bestseller. It's just my knowledge in a book. Got an editor to make sure the grammar was correct, and we put it out there. So that's the Distroverse. It's pretty cool. And like I said, I've done everything through the use of distribution channels. So what do I mean when I say distribution channels? Well, in a nutshell, a distribution channel is someone who has the attention of your target buyers who can sell stuff for you. Okay, the people, places, and things that already have access to your customers that you can rope in to sell the thing that you're trying to sell. So they have the access to the customers, they can do it. This is by far the best way to close the gap between your product and your target buyer. And it simply comes down to that strategic position. And if you do it right, this way you can get the right offer in front of the right person at the right time, which maximizes the potential for a successful transaction. That is the true power of building a distribution network. So let me show you how this is going to work for you. And it's all well and good for you to understand that logically and intellectually. When I say something like, hey, it's real simple, people, places, and things that already have access to your customers, just rope them in so that they sell the thing for you. Makes sense logically. It seems easy. It's kind of like easier said than done, right? This is where recipes come in, like the sequence, the roadmap to follow. So that's what's going to come now. So like I said, promise you I'll give you a free training on how to make money in a way that you can apply in your own business today for free. It's coming up. But like I said, important notice, to generate income from online platforms or any platform for that matter, you need to have a product or service to sell. And the problem is that most people don't know what to sell or don't have something to sell. But we're going to fix that. That's the good news, right? I did say to you, you could do this without ads, without building your own audience, and without a product. So I'm going to show you how. And I'm going to break this down into 3 fundamental aspects. That's it. You got the plan, you got the execution, and then you got the math. Okay? Real simple. The plan, what you got to do, execution, how you're going to do it, the math that underpins it, because we're not doing it together live right now, so I can't show you case study. We're going to have to do math so you can understand how you're going to make money from it, and I'm going to show you how. So this is the plan. This is it. 4 steps, real simple. Contacting a business, agreeing a fee, finding their ideal customers, and then signposting. That's really it. And that's exactly what I've been doing since 2010. That little office, remember you saw me in? I would literally find companies that had stuff to sell. I would agree a fee with them that if I were to bring them a customer on a silver platter and they would buy the thing that they're selling, as a reward, I would get paid X, and I would agree that fee with them, negotiate it, and get it signed on dotted paper the deal as we call it. I'd contact a business, I agree a fee, and paper the deal. The next thing I would have to do is figure out who their target buyer groups were, who their target buyer persona is, their avatar, where is their customers, right? And then sort of figure out who they are, and then where they are, who's already got their attention, who's already speaking to them, where are they already gathered up online, if they're in physical spaces, who are they already attending. We want to find out who they are and where they are. Once we've figured that out, we can start signposting. We can get those ads up, we can get those offers out, we can start getting those people to buy the thing that we're trying to sell. And of course, when they do buy, we start making money. I start making money, right? That's the whole plan. It's very simple to follow. Doesn't take, and also, as you can see, it doesn't require you having your own product. It requires that you find a company, a product that you're happy to work with. So let me break this down real quick. Step 1 is contacting a business. This is where you find a business that has, for quick commissions, they have something to sell, right? It's an e-commerce company. They have stuff selling, network marketing like MLMs, like Herbalife, Amway, Mary Kay, the rest of them. They have products. They're a business that already has an operation where they're geared to actually have you promote the thing that they're trying to sell, and they have ways in which you can get paid. So it's companies that have a commission structure, a predefined commission structure. Even like cosmetic dentistry, you don't have to go for like e-commerce and network marketing. You can look at like brick and mortar shops, street-facing shops, like businesses, like for instance, jewelry stores that sell luxury watches. I actually did that once. I worked with a luxury watch, a jewelry store that sold luxury watches, where they would, if I sold any watch over $5,000, they'd pay me, I think was it 5 or 15,000, but they'd pay me 20% off the sale price as a commission. So like as long as I had that agreed on paper, I knew I could get paid. Even boutique gyms, or not necessarily boutique, but just even large privately owned gyms, they'll do the same kind of deal on memberships. Like, hey, for every member you bring up, we'll give you 100% commission on the first month's membership, and then like 20% or 30% thereafter for the life of the client. There's lots of different companies that you can kind of get behind and get an agreement in place with. You're not asking them for a job. You're saying, hey, look, if I bring you a customer on a silver platter, you give me an opportunity to sell it for you. If I give you the opportunity, should I say, I want to be paid as a reward. So that's really what you're doing. You're contacting a company in the space that you want to work in. So whatever you feel you like, if you're into fitness, if you're into like jewelry, watches, cars, dealerships, if you want to work with network marketing, you want a large access to a big network where you can start triggering network effects and make a lot more money over scale. Like, there's whatever space you want to get into, just find a company, a product that you wouldn't mind getting behind. You don't have to have your own brand. You don't have to build your own business. You can work on the coattails of somebody else. Once you found it, once you picked it, you want to agree a fee, right? Sometimes these companies have a predefined commission structure. But if they don't, you want to negotiate a flat fee or a percentage or a combination of both as a commission per referral that you send them. Okay. Now that's your supply side. Once you've found the company that you want and you've agreed a fee, that's really your supply side taken care of. And what I mean by that is you now have a product. You can sell the product under your own brand, or you can run it under the brand of the company that you're trying to sell it. Regardless, you're now working for yourself and you have a product that you can sell, that you can make money on. That's really what we're trying to get to here. You now have something to sell. Okay, you are now independent right now. As of that point, you now have a way to make money. You don't need a job. You have a way to make money. Okay, so the next two steps is now you've got to find the ideal customers. Find the people who are going to buy the stuff, the thing that you're trying to sell, right? So you want to define your target buyers, your demographics, your social habits, behaviors. You want to literally just find out who it is that they're already selling to, right? Who's their ideal target buyer? Okay, a lot of the times the company's done the job for you. You know who they're already selling to. You've got to find them too. And you've got to find your own pool of them. And then once you've found them, in terms of you've identified who they are, you've got to identify the people, places, and things that already capture your target's audience. When I say people, I mean the influencers and the thought leaders that already speak to that audience. Places are the businesses that have those people in their client lists, so you can collaborate and integrate your marketing with them. And things are essentially the things that they use before, during, and after the thing that you're trying to sell. Okay, I know it can get a bit complex, but it's not too complex. There's probably just a few different concepts there that you need to just soak in. The things that people use before, during, and after the thing that you're trying to sell. They're probably, the customers for those things are probably going to be customers for the thing that you're trying to sell too. So you want to find those ideal customers, and once you've done that, you want to signpost them. This is where you have an offer. You have the offer. You know how you're going to get paid. You know who the customers are, where they are, how you can access them. So now you just need to guide these customers to the offer, and you do that through various different ways, which I generalize under the umbrella of signposting, which could be sending out offers, getting people to speak about the thing, pull them in directly, have people effectively act as an external sales force for you and actually sell for you. Lots of different ways, but so let's generalize and say they're signposting and they're driving customers back to the thing that you're trying to sell. So that's really your 4 steps. So as you can see, it's not that complex. You pick a business, agree a fee, find their target customers, and start signposting. That's it. The first 2 are your supply side. The second 2 are your sell side. I should probably draw a line right through the middle there to actually make that more prominent, that point more prominent. But that's really it. That's how you do it. So if you were to take this plan to heart right now, and you were to leave this video and you wanted to put this into action, how would you do it? Okay, so how would you, let's say, look, contacting a business. I did this from that little office, okay, just by myself, and I had the same problems that you're going to face doing this yourself too. You pick a business. That's kind of fun, okay? That's not really hard work. That's just a little bit of soul searching. What industry do you want to get into? What marketplace do you like? What hobby can you turn into a business? It's not that complicated. But then, the next step still isn't hard work. Agreeing a fee, negotiating, contacting a company saying, hey, I've got a customer that I'm going to bring you. Let's negotiate a fee in terms of how much you're going to pay me when they get them to buy the thing that you're selling. That puts you in a power position. That's still kind of fun. Companies already have predefined commission structures like MLMs, network marketing companies, and all those affiliate programs out there. There's e-commerce brands that have an affiliate platform available, but they have a predefined commission structure. So you don't always have to do the negotiation part. You still might want to contact them to negotiate more if you want. But you're in a power position there. They want you, right? They want you to sell for them. So you're in a good step here too. This part's still fun. Finding ideal customers, I mean, that's just a bit of brain power and a bit of Googling. Spend a bit of time using a couple of platforms and tools out there to find them. Not too difficult to do. This is just sweat equity, I call. Okay, the first three are just sweat equity. It's just the time you have to put in. The thing that people fall flat on their face with is the final one, which is the signposting, right? That's where you're saying, okay, I know where the leads are, I know who they are, where they are at. Now I've got the biggest challenge is driving them to the thing that you represent, that you're going to make money on. That's really the biggest hurdle. You know, if everyone could do that fourth step instantly, no one would have a problem. You wouldn't be watching this video right now. That's really where people kind of have difficulty. And that is what I'm going to show you how to do next, because that is part of how you execute on this plan. So how do you get your signposts up? This is where you have a choice of either building or buying an audience, or buying into an audience that already exists, right? Are you going to build an audience, or are you going to buy an audience? So when you think about this challenge of tapping into an audience, like you find your ideal buyers, you see where they're at, how do you tap into those audiences, right? How do you build one yourself where you can drive those people to your own thing, or how do you actually access the ones that are already there? The groups, the demographic that you want to target. Well, you've got a couple of options. Option number one is content creation, right? I told you we didn't have to do this, but I'm going to cover it because we have to, because everyone's thinking about that. I'm going to set up a YouTube channel. I'm going to build a social media platform. You know, you can build an audience on social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then work on creating engaging content that aligns with the interests and needs of your target buyers. And then once you've done that, once you've got a big enough audience, you can use the content as a medium to kind of subtly introduce and promote the business or products that you're affiliated with, so that you can start earning on that. So is that a good idea starting out? Well, my answer to you is, whilst it's a very good long-term plan, my answer to you is that no, it's not. It takes way too long to do it. It requires consistent effort and a lot of content creation skills. This is a very long-term strategy. Even with a person like myself, you know, I have resources. But if you look at my Instagram and my YouTube, like, I'm pretty guerrilla with it. I actually just do it like bare bones, because I'm just trying to, I dish out content fairly regularly. I don't do much because it's not really, I don't really find it fun, and it's not really that, I don't like it. Okay. I don't like having to post every day. I don't like to focusing on content create. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to posts personally. I could hire people to do that, but you know, when I hire people, you know what they say to me? Okay, Sab, we'll do all the editing for you, but you've got to make this many videos per week. I'm like, oh, geez, now I still have to do stuff, right? And so it's still annoying, right? So I'm not a person that actually likes content creation, but I know it's important, so I do it. But I do it bare bones, and it's going to take a long time for me to actually cultivate an audience of my own through my own personal social media networks to actually replace any kind of lead gen that I would do in my business, which is what I'm going to show you next. My point is that it takes a long time. Okay, unless you're extremely amazing at it, then hey, good for you. You should go do that. Or if you already have an audience that you can tap into, again, good for you. But is it aligned with what you're trying to sell? So there's that problem too that we're going to have to deal with. So option one is content creation. If you're just starting out, probably not the best idea for you to focus on that, although it's a good long-term strategy. Option number two is online marketing. Okay, now online marketing works. You can use digital advertising to directly target buyer demographics. Probably how you found the ad that sort of brought you into the little short ad video that brought you into this video, right? There was probably an ad, or it was someone promoting it. Now, that's great. You know, you can leverage ad management platforms, the machine learning that's built in within them, like Facebook and Google, to actually fine tune your advertisements so that they hit the right demographics. And once you've done that, you know, you can create like a nice catchy ad. I told you I don't spend time doing a lot of content, but I will spend time, you know, re-recording a good ad to capture the interests of a target audience. You know, finding memes and funny stuff just to kind of clickbait people, but also provide some value. Like, you want to create a cash ad. This stuff works. It's working for a long time. SEO, SEM, direct display ads. It works, right? But it requires, good experience and knowledge. So is it a good idea? No, it's not. It like I said, it requires experience of how to run the ad management platforms. It requires, some kind of management. I mean, it takes time to actually manage these ad campaigns, these multiple ad campaigns on multiple different platforms. You usually want to have an ad manager to help you with that. And it can get really expensive. You've got the cost of the people to manage. You've got the cost of the ad budget itself, which, by the way, can get extremely expensive. You can be throwing away 50 to 100 grand a month easily on ads, and actually not actually getting anywhere if things aren't working right, if they're not aligned correctly. If you've ever had any experience running ads in the past, you may have had similar experiences where you spend $100, $200, $300, and you're like, you didn't really get much from it. And then you knew that you realize that, well, that's why ad agencies exist, and that's why people train on this thing, and that's why I should find an ad manager. And you try to cheap out and you go on Fiverr or Upwork, and then you do that, and then it doesn't work as well, and you've spent more money. It can become a bit soul destroying. If you don't have a lot of money starting out, ads aren't always the best way to go. So if option 2, online marketing, isn't great for the beginner, the startup entrepreneur, the solopreneur, unless you have some significant cash available, what is option 3? Okay, well, option 3 is you want to leverage networks. So you probably guessed this one was coming. You want to partner with the businesses or people that already have an audience or a customer base that already matches your target buyer demographic, okay? This is done various different ways, like joint venture agreements, affiliate marketing contracts, simple collaborations with influencers and businesses out there who already have access to customers, an audience that would be perfect buyers for the thing that you're trying to sell. And you can use their ability to instantly access their audience and their customer base to directly promote your offer. And when I say instant, I mean instant. It takes seconds for a influencer, a person with an audience, to be able to whip up a post and message their audience directly. Equally, a company can send an email out to their entire customer base instantly with your offer on that email. So your job is to figure out how you can get them to do that, okay? If I had $1,000, I'd rather spend it figuring out how to rope one of those people in to send my sales message to their pre-existing audience than it would be to spend the same amount of money on ads, right? Where I'm kind of hoping and praying that it's going to work. And of course, you're benefiting by doing that. You're benefiting from the pre-established trust and influence that they already have with their audience. So you're not going in cold anymore. You're going in warm, okay? Because they already know the medium that you're going through, the person or the business. And by far, this is the quickest and most cost-effective way to reach your target buyers. And it is what I have been doing since 2010. Okay, this has worked. It has worked consistently, time over time, year over year. And that's your option 3, leveraging networks. And it will end up looking like this. So there's the local business or the online e-commerce brand or the network marketing, Herbalife. You've picked up their product and you're now an ambassador for them or distributor for them or however they define it. And you're an affiliate for an e-commerce brand, or you've just contacted a local business and you've negotiated a joint venture agreement or a strategic partnership or some kind of a referral fee arrangement with them on paper. And you can you now have, that's who you represent, and you can either, there's you there in the middle. You can be either running under the banner of the business, okay, or you could be running under your own banner, like I did way back in the day. As core agents, I would sell, real estate, whatever. I'd even represent companies selling rubber from China, and I would structure the deals where they'd sell rubber through to manufacturers in Turkey, who would then turn that rubber into shoe soles that would be sold to like Skechers in the US. Anyway, that's a longer story, but that is, you can run it under your own brand, or you can represent the source, the company that you've agreed with. And so, but there's arguments 2 and 4, like, because you could be working with more than one company. Don't forget, you could be building an influencer network and a business, a strategic partnership network, for one company, or like a company and complementary businesses. So fitness, if you like the fitness space and you work with one company selling nutritional products like protein shakes, and then maybe another company that's focused on like the low carb, high protein ready meals, and another home workout equipment. So these are 3 different businesses that can benefit from the same influencers and businesses that you have you are collaborating with. I'll explain that in a bit more detail in a few minutes. So you can run it under your own brand. I digress, but it will essentially look like this. You have your local businesses, you in the middle, and then there's the influencers and businesses that have access to their audiences or their client lists respectively. So this is what you end up having. This is what you call a distribution network. And you want to build it as big of a network as you can. So with that being said, your next question, what do you think your next question should be? What is your next question right now? This isn't a live webinar, so I'd normally be saying, hey, write it in the chat. It's not. This is just a video presentation that I think slapped on a web page right now. So I'm going to just guess and make the assumption of what your next question is. It's how do you find those influencers? How do you find those businesses, right? How do you instantly find the people, places, and things based on who's in their audience? How do you it's all well and good finding one or two influencers like relevant to your thing you're trying to sell, or maybe 10 or 20, but how do you find hundreds? How do you find thousands, right? How do you also know if they have the authority to even, and engagement to even promote the offer or to promote the thing that you're trying to sell? And how do you then, once you've found a ton of them that do have the authority, how do you then filter them based on where they are, their audience sizes, and their interests? Like, for instance, just because you find 100 people that have the perfect authority and engagement to sell the thing that you're trying to sell, but maybe they've got like 1 million followers each and you're just starting out, why would they even work with you? So maybe you want to find, instead of 10 of them or 100 of those, I'd rather find 1,000 people who are maybe got between 1 and 10,000 followers, who have the exact audience, who have the exact kind of engagement I'm looking for, who have the authority to sell to their audience because it's a very close relationship that they have, more intimate perhaps. How do I find them? Because they'd probably be more likely to work with me since I'm a startup, or I don't have a big track record yet. So that's kind of, how do you do all that? How do you build an army of influencers that can work with you as an affiliate in this scenario to sell your stuff for you? Well, the good news is I created a software. This is where I get to showcase my software. So I created a software that automates what I did by hand. All those years since 2010, I used to take the time to really do this manually. And I built a software that really allows you to simplify the process. And so here we are. This is Distro List. Welcome. We launched it not too long ago. So this is the sales page you can come to. So you can access here by just typing in www.distrolist.app. And you'll end up at this page here. We have like a little cool potential sales calculator here, some cool stuff, and then you can join the platform. Prices start from $97. But anyway, let me show you how the software itself works. Okay, this is Distro List. This is the actual dashboard that you're in. And here you can search Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and you have access to over 250 million creators. I shouldn't always just say influencer. These are people with public profiles that have an audience. Okay, not all of them are considered influencers. Not all of them are considered creators. Some of them are just people who are considered maybe popular. All right, and there's a lot of them. And so we have a bunch here. These are my recent saves, recent searches below, and we can search. Let's go into Instagram and conduct a search. If I'm trying to sell, let's use the network marketing as an example. Let's say I decided to work for, become a distributor for Herbalife, and they sell those green juices, right? The good juices, the stuff that meant to make you real healthy, right? So you can tell I don't know anything about Herbalife. Okay, so look, audience location. Let's say that we're in the US. And their interests we want to make sure their interests are aligned. So healthy lifestyle, wellness, let's see, health. Was there fitness? There was fitness and yoga. Let's go with that. Healthy lifestyle, fitness, and yoga. That's probably a good interest group to go with. Now let's look for the influencers that have those people in their audience. Okay, so that's my audience. That's who I'm trying to sell to. Who are the influencers that have them too? Okay, so let's find the influencers that are based in the same place. So United States. Let's make sure, I'm going to jump ahead here to interest. Let's make sure that they have the same interests, so that these influencers are aligned with the same interests of their audience. We aren't just finding random brand pages that just so happen to have your audience demographic in them. I want the people who have the authority to actually carry the sales message for us. And one of the ways to do that is to make sure the interests are alive. So fitness and yoga. Let's make sure the engagement rate is, if 2% is the average across Instagram, let's make sure the engagement rate is at least, say, 4% or above. And let's kind of keep it simplified. But here, I did jump past followers. Let's say And we're selling Herbalife products. In my mind, I'm thinking that packets of green powder that you can put in water and shake up and drink, right? That's what I'm assuming. I'm making some assumptions here. So if that's the kind of product that Herbalife is selling, I don't want to find the people with 1 million plus followers because they're probably not going to want to respond to me when I message them. So how about I look for people who have between, say, 1,000 and maybe 25,000 followers. But let's say 5,000. I want them to have a bit more of a significant audience. 5,000 to 25,000 people max in their audience. Okay, so these guys are more likely to respond to me. Let's do that. Let's see how many people I can find. We found 41,418 between that range there with these interest groups above a 4% engagement. This is pretty good. There's more things that we can do here as well. Topics, hashtags, mentions, keywords. We can add some. We can keep narrowing that 41,000 down because 41,000 is kind of hard. It's going to take you a while to get through that. We can go through genders as well and do all that kind of stuff. But the point is that you now have a list, a pretty narrow list that you can start working through to start, reaching out to people. So here, for example, let's look at someone. I mean, these are live Instagram profiles. So there's some people I don't want, like Destiny. I don't want to click that one right now. Might be some kids watching. Let's look at. Let's go up here. Let's go to Dr. Toyo. Let's go to 229% engagement. Okay, that's probably fake. That means they probably have fake followers. And the beautiful thing about DistroList is that we can actually find fake followers. It's kind of funny. I'm actually curious. So the first level of value with DistroList, by the way, is that you can make a list and then you can view a report. So I'm curious. I want to see this now. This is interesting. Let's see, 229.94%. Fake followers are 28%. That's actually not bad. So this person is just doing a lot of good stuff out there, and they get a lot of likes and comments on their profiles. They're getting a ton of likes, and they're getting a decent amount of comments. I mean, not huge, just 33 is the average comment. So this is an example of someone who just is a very influential person, and they're growing fast. They have 25,000 followers. Here's their email address. We can reach out to them. Got a healthy mix between male and female. Most of the people are based in the US. Male and gender split based on age. Audience interests, I can see most use hashtags, PhD journey, PhD students. So it's really like PhD means you're smart, right? It's content overview. So here's what her most popular posts are doing. I mean, she still may have been paying for this. I'm still a bit suspect. I still feel a bit sus about that. That's a very big engagement rate. Once it goes past 100%, I start to, So I don't know about this person. That's a hell of a lot of likes. For a pretty basic looking photo here. So maybe she is actually paying those like companies, those bot companies out there. Who knows? So this is what she's getting for what's considered her organic post. Has she done anything sponsored? Let's see. Nope, she hasn't got anything sponsored. So this is a really good way to actually identify if someone's worth working with. Let's say I'm a bit sus there, I don't want to work with her. Let me look at Nicole here. She has 10.10% engagement rate there. So let me open Nicole and see if she could work with us, if she would buy stuff from me, or she would help me sell, I should say. Would she help me sell my green juices? So you can kind of open up this person. She has 36%. Anything above 20% means that they've generally paid for a bot. But 36 is not exactly super high, and a lot of that audience is still real. Here's contact information for this person. We can decide whether or not we want to work with her based on who's in her audience. She's got predominantly male. I'm not sure if Herbalife products would be suitable or are best suited to be sold to a male audience, but she has a significant female. Anyway, the point here is to start looking through and making decisions on who you want to work with. Let's look at Layla quickly. I don't want to spend too long here. I do want to find someone that's relevant. Okay, majority female, low percentage fake followers. There's your emails. I can now, 49.5% based in the US. Let's say I like the look of Layla. I can literally save her to a list and call that, let's say, Herbalife. Let's call it the Herbalife list. So she's now saved in my lists over here. She's available here to search in my Herbalife list. So I can come back here and find her again later. Let's say I actually liked everybody in this list. Like, let's say I trusted everyone here. I thought they were all great. Or maybe I just wanted to save them to go through them later. And I'm not going to save all 41,000, but I'm going to save everything on this page. Say I want to bulk save everyone here and throw them in a Herbalife so I can look at them tomorrow. And maybe I want to go into page 2. Oops, I pressed 1 again, didn't I? Let's go to page 2 and let me save everybody here too to Herbalife. So I'm going to reach out to them tomorrow. That's tomorrow's job. So my lists, tomorrow I can jump in, go to my list, pick the Herbalife one. And of course you can have like multiple lists with multiple things. And I can go through this list and I can start making some notes against it. Okay, I've reached out to Layla. She's part of the Herbalife HL. I can make a little tag there and I could say she's interested, right? And I can save that. And of course, it's going to update with some notes here. So it's kind of like a really simple CRM where you can just go through. This is really it. That's Distro List. You can really just make searches, filter through them, build a list. Very, very simple, but yet very, very powerful software. It's very difficult to make a search on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok respectively and actually be able to find results like this, to be able to get a very large list, narrow results that you can just spend time going through and DMing and messaging and accessing the people to then start recruit, essentially. Either recruit to, you could even directly sell to them, but this is the purpose for this, is to recruit them into your army of influencers that you can use to now sell the thing that you're trying to sell. So that's how you can do that there. Okay. So that's Distro. Let's go back to the presentation. Now I've done my little shameless plug there. Okay. So that was a software. That's how you could execute essentially. Now the third is the math. We've got to look at how this kind of comes full circle, right? How are you going to actually make money? It's all well and good giving you a plan. It's all well and good saying, here's how you can go find people, but you need something to underpin it, like your mini business plan, but not like some kind of bloated plan. Like you want something that's just like going to cut through the mustard, something real. And this is where I'm going to show you how you can make money for you. That's what I would say is a rather conservative way to do it. And what you're looking at right here is what we call a drop-off funnel. Okay. We'll explain what that is. And we're going to use the case study of those influencers that we just saw, right? We're looking at Herbalife products and we were thinking about people who had 25,000 followers in their audience. So let's say you found 50 influencers with 25,000 followers each. Now, as you saw with the app, it's not uncommon to find people that have around 25,000 followers. In fact, it's not uncommon to find people with 1 million followers. So saying 50 people that are 25,000 followers, that have 25,000 followers each, I wouldn't say it's difficult. You could just spend some time building your list like you just saw in Distro List app, or if you want to do it manually, it doesn't matter. You spend your time doing that and you build a big list, and then you like maybe 500 perhaps, and you cut it down, you start contacting them, and you end up with 50 people. That gives you a total audience potential of 1,250,000. 1,250,000. 25,000 times 50 is 1,250,000. That's a lot of potential people to be selling to. That's a huge audience. So if you got all 50 of those influencers next Monday at 6 p.m. to promote your offer, right? You can make a couple of assumptions. And this is where the drop-off funnel comes in. You've got, let's say, 1.25 million. Only 30% of them even noticed the ad. Out of the total audience, only 30% of them even noticed the ad. That brings you down to 375,000 that just saw it, that just scrolled through their phone and they just paused for a second to see the ad. That's all that happened at this point, down to 375,000. Now, let's say out of the 375,000 that just noticed it, let's say only 30% of them even cared about it enough to kind of hover on it, right? Just to stop for more than a few seconds, just to look at it, kind of read it, skim it. That brings you down to 112,500. Now let's make another assumption. Let's say only 30% of them actually decided to watch it, to watch the offer. That's 33, you're now down to 33,750. Okay. That's a long way down from 1.25 million, right? So now 33,750. Now let's say out of the people that watched it, there's only 20% of them that actually liked it enough to consider wanting it, to consider buying it. So they've clicked into it now. Now we're looking at 6,750. Out of the 6,750, let's say only 20% of the people there actually bought it. That brings you down to 1,350. That's all the way down from 1.25 million to 1,350. That's a conversion rate of 0.108%. And if you had something selling at a unit price of 97, so if it was those Herbalife products and they had like the starter kit, I know that they sell, was like three or four different items, and they price it up at $97. Or if it's an e-commerce product that's being sold at, I'm just using the $97 as an example. Let's say whatever it was, you can throw whatever number you want in there, or you can go to the distrolist.app website and use a calculator there to figure it out yourself if you want to throw in different numbers. The total revenue in this case study would be 130,950. 130,950 that you would have earned next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time when you got all 50 influencers to make the promotion for you. That's what this case study is showing. It's pretty big. It's a lot of money. Okay, that's a pretty successful campaign, actually, I'd say. So. Is that realistic? Well, let's talk about the numbers a bit more. I showed you a conversion rate of 0.108. So 1% of 1.25 million is, so 1,250,000 is 12,500. So 1% of 1.25 million is 12,500. 10% off that 1%, so 10% off the 12,500 is 1,250. So 0.108 is 1,350. That's just over 10% of the 1%. So I'm trying to just make a point to illustrate how small of a number that is. That is typical with cold emails. If you had a list of 1.25 million emails, you could probably expect that if it was a cold email. This is actually a warm audience. Don't forget, your influencers in your companies, you're tapping into people that already have access to their audience, that already communicate and have they know, like, and trust. Their audience knows, like, and trust the influencers that you've actually collaborated with to promote the thing. So you're actually going to probably get higher numbers than this. But is that still realistic? That's the question here. Is it? Let's look at the numbers. What if you ran that? I'm getting ahead of myself here. Before I get into this, let's do this. What if you ran that campaign multiple times, right? So what if you had 130,000 and you made that on that Monday? What if you ran the campaign on Tuesday? What if you ran it on Wednesday? You had 50 for Monday, another 50, a completely different 50 influencers for Tuesday, another completely different set of influencers for Wednesday. So you had these things running 12 days out of a year. 12 days out at 130 rand, you're over $1 million in a month. What if you just did it once per week? All right, you did it Monday of the next week or Thursday, whatever day you chose, and you just did it once per week, and you had a 50, 50, 50. You had multiple different, lists of influencers. Or maybe you had one product that same group of influencers promoted on a Monday, another product, a complementary product that they promoted the following week, and so on. You could see how this could start making you a lot of money. So I'm trying to get you to picture the power of leveraging a network. But let's talk about how realistic that is again. Let's get more conservative. We said that was 130,950 that you could have made if 20% had bought it in the end. Well, not 20%, at a conversion rate of 108%. So let's say out of that 20%, off the 20% that clicked it, off the 30% that watched it, off the 30% that cared about it, off the 30% that noticed the ad, let's say half of the 1,350 actually changed their mind at the checkout. So you're down to 675. That's a conversion rate of 0.054%, with the total sales revenue landing on 65,475. So that's half the money than the previous case study. You've knocked off half because half changed their mind, right? But that's still not bad, right? It's still not bad. It's still a pretty good, still a pretty good amount of money that you can make in one day, or maybe in 1 week, or maybe if you did it once per month. 65 grand's not bad for a monthly take home either, is it? So, would that be enough? Would that be enough for you? Okay, would a situation like that make you happy financially? Would it give you the freedom that you want? Well, let's get a bit more realistic too. And we do need to keep keeping it real. I hope you're tracking with me here. And what I've done is I've given you an overarching strategy that talks about big numbers, and now we're cutting everything down. We're really cutting through to find something that's realistic, okay? So I'm going to keep keeping it real. If you're taking home 65,475, that would only be true if it was your own product that you were selling, not Herbalife or not the e-commerce brand that you decided to sell. It was your own product where you kept all the money, and that you also didn't pay the influencers anything that you collaborated with to promote the thing for you. Okay, so this is like easy win money right now. That's not real. That's not true. That's not really going to happen in the real world. Okay. So if you're going to rope in an army, raise an army to sell something for you of influencers, 50 people with 25,000 followers each, you think they're going to do it for free? Let's say it was your product. In this case, let's use the product. We'll do one with it's not your product shortly. If it was your product and you paid out 30% of total sales to those influencers each for each sale of each product, you would then keep 70% of the gross sales. So let's look at that diagram there, my little doodle, my helpful doodles. Your product so it's your business. There's you get to keep 70% of the money that comes in, and 30% of the gross is paid out to your influencers and the businesses that you've worked with. Okay, so now your total sales revenue was 65,475. If you pay out 30%, you're paying out 19,642 to your influencers, to your business partners, and what you get to take home in actual fact as a gross income is 45,832. Still not bad. Let's be honest. That's still a pretty good number. Okay, and when I ran my own products, that's exactly what I would achieve. When I sell my own I haven't sold e-commerce, but when I sold my own software platforms, when I sold my own real estate products, your take home was 70%. That's what you would consider paying your staff with, your taxes, the product costs. 70% was what you would take home. So that's a real situation right there. You paid out 30%. 30% is not chump change as commission. It's pretty good commission structure. It's a decent chunk. It's not like 20%. It's 30. 30% is a good chunk of a sale, and people tend to be happy with that. So this is getting closer to realistic right here. But like I said, that's if you had your own product. We're talking now. The promise at the beginning of this presentation was to say, you don't have to have your own product. You don't have to have your own offer. Okay, maybe you're selling somebody else's. Let's say you went, remember that diagram? You contacted business, you negotiate a fee. Let's say the fee that you negotiated was actually 30% of the total sales. So that you now had to split a portion of that 30% with your influencers or the businesses that you work with. So now it's getting a bit more complex, but this is getting more realistic, right? This is really where you want to be. You don't want to be sold fluff here. You don't want to be sent on a pipe dream here. You want something that's real. So let's break it down some more. You negotiated a deal with a business. The agreed fee was you'd get paid, let's say 20 or 30%, 30% for this case study. So if you got paid 30% of the total sales available, let's say you paid out 20% of the total sales to your influencers and business partners, and you were able to keep 10%. Okay, so look at this doodle here. This is not your product now. That company gets to keep the 70%. All right, you get to keep 10% of the total sale, and 20% of the total sale goes to your influencers or the network that you built. So this is really now splitting up that 30. But let's look at that sales revenue again. 65,475 was the total sales revenue. Remember that when 50% of the people change their mind. Let's say the total commissions, if you're giving out a 30%, we're 19,643, but now you've got to split it, right? So you're going to earn from this now. They get 20%. That means they get 13,095. It's not bad. And you, remember, that 13,095 is kind of split up amongst all the different people that you have in your network, but you get to collect 6,547. What do you think of that? Is that a decent number? Would you be okay with that? What if you ran a campaign on Monday of next week and 6 p.m. Eastern time and 50 people promoted for you, and at the end of that day, the next morning, you looked at your bank account and you saw 6,500 in there? Would you be okay with that? Would you be planning day 2, day 3, week 1, week 2, week 3? You do that 4 times out of a month, you're making a decent salary there. You're over 100 grand, 200 grand a year salary at that level. How would you feel about 65.47 next Monday? So now, that's a pretty good strategy. That's that. We could leave it there if you want. You could just focus on doing that. But what if you take it to another level. What happens after you've got the list now? You've spent time cultivating a list of people who will be willing to collaborate with you to sell to a certain sphere of a certain target market. So you found 50 fitness influencers or 50 business coach people who are interested in the business space or trading space or whatever. It doesn't matter. You've spent the time to come up with a list of 50. If you built a list of people aligned for a specific interest and you took that list to a company who served that space, you could make a lot more money. And in fact, a lot of the people that use the DistroList platform actually do this. And these are the people, and these are not necessarily people I've even told this plan to. This is just what people use the platform for. They'll spend time building a list of people. They'll have a product that they can use to actually cultivate and draw that list in. So they'll say, hey, do you want to sell this? We want to collaborate with us. And they'll basically build a big list and they'll get them to sell it. But what they're really doing is that once they've built that list, this is the secret sauce here. If there was a secret sauce to be talked about, they would then take that list to other complementary companies. I kind of hinted to this earlier. They'd go to other complementary companies and they'll say, hey, I have this pre-cultivated, ready to go list on a platter of people who have 1.25 million in audience total, have high engagement, and are happy to sell or promote products in the field of in the fitness market. They're currently selling for this other company, and go run through the numbers. This is how much they actually grossed last month. You sell a complementary type of product, so we'd be happy to work with you. Would you like to use this list? You think companies are going to say no to that? Look at this. You can get paid a management fee. You're not going to give it to them for free this time. You're going to say to the company, I want the commission structure. I want to earn on every single sale made. But you can structure this deal slightly differently. You can make sure the marketing costs are actually absorbed by the company itself, and you can charge a management fee. So this diagram here, look at that. You get to go to a company with the pre-cultivated list. That company will say yes, they want to use the list most of the time. No, you're not going to get too many no's here. You've got a pre-cultivated, demonstratable list that shows that it can make money. And you're saying, hey, do you want to sell your product through this list of influencers who have a massive massive audience? They sold it for this much. They sold this much for that company. Let's get your product in here. You think they're going to say no? The question is going to be how much is it going to cost for them to get involved with you? And that's where you can throw out a number like, it's going to cost you $5,000 a month for me to manage the list. Okay, so I'm not giving the list to you. I'm going to manage your product through my list. So you can charge an upfront fee of $5,000 if you wanted. You can go more than that depending on the size of your list. That's just a number I plucked out of the sky. That's a number one of my own customers from DistroList have actually told me that they charge. So I just kind of use that as the go-to. That's $5,000 there. And company A, let's say the company, they'll pay you the $5,000, but they'll also, when you say, this is the list of influencers I have, you can say to the company, what are you going to give these influencers as you want to get them pay on performance. I want a commission available, but they're going to need something. They're going to need a product. They're going to need a sample. They're going to need a freebie, a coupon code or something. So the company is now covering the cost of recruiting your influencers to do the thing for you, to make the promotion for you. So the marketing costs are actually absorbed by that company too. And really you're able to double down on how much you can make. You're making the $5,000 a month and management fee, and you're making the $5,000, and you're making the money that you would make from the commissions on the sales made from the influencers and the businesses. And like I said, quick reminder, companies pay for this. This is what they do. When companies are in business, they pay for advertising. They pay Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. I'm not going to read everything here, but they pay money into mediums to sell and promote their wares, right? Their products, their services. So if you've got a pre-cultivated network ready to rock and roll, you're going to get a lot more yeses than nos, okay? Especially if they've demonstrated this kind of a drop-off in terms of how much money can be made. So if you were to work through the same management example where you ended up with 6,547, where you were earning 30% of, 30% was available and you actually earned 10%, but then you throw another $5,000 on top of that as a management fee. I mean, here's a really, really, really simplified it's only 8 months here because it gets silly. I don't want to just go into I don't want to go to Mars with fictitious potentials like where everybody can become a spreadsheet millionaire. But I want to give you some idea of what this can look like. A super simplified version of that is if you're charging $5,000 as a monthly management fee and you sell 65, what was it? You sell 65,475 for the company. That's what the company gets to keep. All right. Well, actually, it wasn't. It was 40 something, wasn't it? Either way, they get to keep 70% of that, right? And they've paid out a proportion of that money in sales. So they've made money. This has been a successful campaign for the company. Do you think they're going to say, well, that was a one and done? They're probably going to say, can you run it again next month? Can you build a bigger network? Can you give me influencers that have a different demographic? Can you target different locations or different geographic areas? They're going to want to work with you month in, month out. So now you've got not just $5,000 as a one-off payment. You've now got $5,000 potentially coming in month in, month out. And this is really simplified. Like I say, let's say you were able to run the same kind of, your funnel kind of worked the same way, your drop-off funnel. So you had the same amount of audience, you had the same drop-off rates, the same kind of conversions. If you were to just assume that you got those similar type of conversion, whether it was with that one list or a new list, whatever, you had the same kind of conversion month in, month out, you would be taking home $11,547 per month. And that's easily by month 8, you're at 91,000. So you're over $100,000 for the year. It's a pretty good way to earn, right? And all of this, by the way, remember, you've not done anything. This is really making money out of nothing. You've gone to a company that has a product. You've then found people that have an audience. You're basically connecting dots together. You haven't actually created anything apart from the relationships, and you're managing the relationships, you're leveraging the relationships, and you're making money from the relationships. That's what you want to remember. So this is, like I said, super simplified, but you can see how this can work, right? And by the way, if you're wondering, like, how do I find the companies that want to use influencers? I told you, I've explained, you can go find companies that are in the same space. But if you want to kind of just leap ahead and just find even more, you can actually this is a really easy hack, and I'll just share this with you right now. Another secret recipe, right? You can literally go to any job board. I've used LinkedIn here, but you can go to monster.com, Indeed, wherever. It doesn't matter. You go in there and you type in influencer marketing jobs. Okay. I put here, if you can see this, I put 60,000 as the base salary because that's $5,000 a month, right? So I want to make sure that I could charge $5,000 a month. So let me find companies that are willing to pay at least 60 grand. And remote work, right? This is kind of fitting the description here, right? And look, one search, this was done a couple of days ago, and 1,353 different opportunities come up. And then you can start going into the company here and start picking the industry you want to get involved with, like fitness or healthcare or, computer science, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can start to whittle that down a bit. But the point is, if you want an easy place to fish, to go into, to know who has a requirement for influencer management at the exact time that they want it. This is it. This is the answer to that question. Who wants it at the exact time they want it? They are currently telling you on this job board that they are willing to pay for someone to build them a list of influencers, and this is how much they're going to pay, and the fact that they want it right now. Okay, you could even come in. Hey, look, I can see your job. You got a job there as an influencer outreach specialist. Look, we actually have a list. I'm not actually applying for the role per se, but we do have a list that would perfectly match your business. Would you want to work with us? Well, what have you got? Why wouldn't you want to work with it? You can start having that negotiation. It's a really powerful place to be. It's a strategic position for yourself. You are no longer like the person looking for a job and, hey, can I have a job? This is now you saying, I have this resource. Do you want access to it? And that's really where you get to dictate the terms. It's a pretty good strategy. It's pretty straightforward too, right? So that's a nifty little trick in terms of how you can do it. And of course, like I said, if you find one company 1 month and you stack on another company month 2, you can end up with something like this. Okay. This is, again, super simplified. This is perfect world, but this is literally just to give you the idea, the concept of you getting more and more companies that are complementary to each other, that don't have a conflict of interest, right? So you're not selling like one yoga mat company one month and then a different yoga mat company the next month, right? You're selling like the things that are complementary to it. Maybe you're selling the nutrition. The next month you're selling, you pick up another business in the classes space, and then another one in the home equipment space, and another one for whatever, right? So you start to stack them up, complementary businesses, so they don't mind being sold alongside the other products that you have, and also the influencers themselves are happy because they're able to sell something that's actually adding value to their audience, right? So there's things that are kind of that can link together, that can provide a full service, a full suite of offers for their audience. So this is where you can start leveraging that. And here, look, you want to start talking about way bigger numbers. Okay, we're talking about 11,547 for the first month with the $5,000 management fee and the 6,547 commissions that you get. Well, if you start adding those up every month with an additional management and doubling up on how much you could be making in commissions from the next campaign, you can very, very quickly start seeing your monthly take home going from like 12,000 to 30,000 to 60,000 and so on, where your total takings at month 8 for that year, if you were like a ninja at this, if you were really slick at this, if you were like, you didn't make one move wrong, you could be easily on track to be over $500,000 for that first year of you being in business. And now look, that is really how I ran my business. Now, I did this since 2010. From that little office that I showed you, that was my job. That's the job that I created for myself. I went and found companies to partner with. I had my own brand. I said, hey, you're selling. In the very beginning, I remember it was real estate. I was like, hey, I'd contact property developers that have like big hotels to sell. I said, hey, you have these rooms or these apartments or these whatever it was that they were selling. Let's work out a commission structure that I could get paid for selling the thing for you to investors, and I'd find other people, places, and things that had access to those investors. And I would find one company, then I'd find a complementary business, and then I'd find another complementary. And then, the first time I did it, I had to kind of do it not charging a management fee. I went in, I said I'd give me the commissions, and I went and found a list, and I made money on the commissions. But when I had that list of that network, I went to the next company and they said, hey, could you do the same thing you did for that other company? I said, yeah, sure. So, hey, how do we get started? I'm like, well, 30 grand up front, 30 grand setup fee. And then we'll work on a commission only basis or pay on performance basis after that. That's how I started. And that's how I started making that money. You get 10, 20, 30 companies coming up. And believe you me, that setup fee from 30K went to 50K, went to 100K. It was very lucrative. And that was me doing it, in different industries over a long time. And like I said, I did it for raw materials from China through to distributors in Turkey manufacturing that rubber into shoe soles. And I've done it through real estate, selling alternative investments all over the place. I've been involved with this in so many different business verticals that I know it to be true in every single one of them. And no truer is it. And no more, it has never been more accessible in the way in which we can leverage influencers now, people who spend the time to create and cultivate an audience, and you can now work with them to actually make some money. Not everybody has their own product. Not everybody needs their own product. And that goes for the influencers too. That's why they'd be willing and open to partner with you to actually monetize their audience. Okay, enough about that. Are you good on the math? Does it actually make sense? I hope it does. I hope I didn't lose you along the way. I don't know. Hopefully we can get a replay for this video as well if you want to watch it over again. But that's really the strategy that I followed. It's no more complicated than that. Everything revolves around your ability to build a list, okay? And there are lots of ways to make that math work for you. I know. Obviously, I was making some flowery. Yeah, like I said, you can become a spreadsheet millionaire really quickly. So that's not the point of this. Like, I want you to understand the potential of it. And then obviously, you know, it's easier said than done, right? But you got to do the job. And once you do it, it's a very human focused business. It's a very powerful way to make money. And when you actually start to do this, you will start to see return. You'll start to see actual you'll start to see whatever it is that you're saying, you'll start selling it. You'll start seeing money come and flow through the platform, flow through your distribution channel. Remember, I sold over $800 million worth over 20 years, and we'd be making anywhere between sometimes 1%, but on average, it was mostly 2%, but sometimes even 5%. And that's a lot of, you can imagine that's the amount of money that came through them. I was making a lot of money doing that. So I do want to, it wouldn't be right me just giving you all the flowery stuff without telling you of some of the pitfalls that could befall the novice, the entrepreneur walking into this space. So I want to share with you a quick word of warning. The nature of building and maintaining a distribution network is that you need to avoid circumvention. I haven't spoken about that before, but it's important. But the way in which you avoid circumvention is pretty straightforward, but it had an unexpected pitfall for me. And I'm going to share that with you right now. Here's what circumvention means. When you basically set up this agreement with companies and you build an army of influencers, what do you think happens when you start making all that money? And they start making all that money. And the company starts making all that money. What do you think happens? Because you're going to do it like I did it, right? You're going to be successful, right? Here's what happens. People want to go around you. They want to cut out the middleman. Either the company wants to cut you out because they feel like they have enough influencers, they have enough of an army, and they just want to get rid of you so that they can save on that 10%, right? And you don't have to pay you that management fee. They want to cut you out. Equally, the influencers in the businesses that you rope in, when they get wind, and they will get wind, you can never keep it a secret for too long in terms of how much you're getting paid. They're going to want to, they know there's more money on the table. So they're going to say, hey man, can we renegotiate? I'm not worried about your commission, but can we get more? Can you contact the company? And you say no, or you contact the company, they say no, but they don't buy it. So they want to go around you, and they try and contact the source because they don't want to stop selling it because their audience is buying it. So they don't want to mess with that, right? But they do want more money, that they want access to more of the money that's on the table. And so people will start going around you. And the bigger the ticket size, the bigger the deal size, the more likely this is to happen. But it happens at every level. I don't care if you're selling things at $100, $1,000, or in my case, like I was, at $500,000 to $1 million plus in real estate deals. It will always happen. They will still go around you. And by the way, I will say this: when you get good at this, selling $100 product or $1,000 product, it doesn't matter. You can, once you get the structure down packed, and it's becomes like second nature to you, you can put a $1 million product through there, $100,000, $500,000 product through there. It doesn't matter. It will still sell because you'll know how to build a network that will sell it. There are people in the world that are there to sell everything for you. They already have access to buyers. So you'll start to see how to build them. But this is how you avoid circumvention. You build a closer relationship with the company. Okay, you have to essentially form a closer alliance. You have that. Remember, I told you about agreeing a fee. That contract becomes more robust. You end up with a more strategic partnership, a joint venture agreement. You get closer to it, right? And that's what happened to me. One time, I partnered with a company that built co-working spaces. This is a company called Barworks. Co-working spaces are like office spaces that are like, people rent the desks, like WeWork, if you're familiar with WeWork and the various other co-working spaces out there. Pretty cool, really, really nifty, nice idea. People loved it. I loved it. I mean, it was a fantastic business model. They would turn street-facing restaurants and bars into co-working locations. So the struggling restaurants would be converted into a co-working location, and they could open up like 10 of them in any city very, very quickly. I didn't have to retrofit an entire huge 7-8 story building like WeWork had to. It was a really cool business model. I partnered with the company. I found the company, Barworks, and there was me in the middle. And I built a network of 1,200 global distribution partners to promote investments in this company. Actually, it was 1,247 people. And that was how big the network was. And I did that through the course of 10 months. I did it very, very quickly. Again, I had, had cultivated networks. I had built them, and I could very quickly expand on a base I already had. But here's a long story short. Turns out the owner of that company was using a fake name. I found out about that fake name after a few months of working with the company. By then I'd already had the network up and running. Okay, so it was already engaged, it was running, they were selling. And when I asked about the name change, I was asking about the other executives in the business about the name change. I was told not to worry. People were investing in the built assets not the person. I'm like, okay, so fake name, built assets. Well, that's what they're buying. They're buying the real estate, right? They're not buying the. Okay, cool. It placated me. Stupid, I know, but that's what happened. It placated me. But things were looking good. All right. The distribution network was selling super fast. Locations were opening up. That company was opening up these different offices all over the place. Within 11 months, they had 8 in New York, 1 in San Francisco, one in Miami. I even think my numbers are off here. I think they had even more than that. And they were expanding super fast with deposits on like 10 other locations. One in like Turkey, I think. They had one in London. They had one in. Oh God, they were growing at such a rate. The investor money was in, so they had the money to keep on growing. But then, like I said, I did this in about 11 months, 10 months, 11 months, about a year after this started off, the owner ran off with 36 million. So we were pulling in millions, like 30, 10 million, 20 million, 30, 50, 100. You know, it was really growing. And it turns out that the owner of the company ran off with $36 million of the people that money had invested. None of the staff in the buildings were paid at one point. He literally just left the business running, decided to stop paying bills. The vendors weren't paid. The bills didn't get paid. The investors weren't paid their returns. The people who had sent the money. I wasn't paid. And the company owner and the other executives had vanished. They weren't anywhere to be found. And because, regretfully, that I did not flag that name misinformation with my network or inform anyone of the true personal control, even though it was the worst kept secret a lot of people knew, I was the only one left in town when the FBI came through. And let me tell you, they did come through. I was very, very quickly charged and then indicted. I was the first person to just say, hey, look, man, I'm bad. I was indicted in May 2019. I said, my bad, this has happened. I did what I did, and I was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison for conspiracy, meaning even though I didn't steal the money, I was part of the machine, right? Even as a middleman, you are not safe. That doesn't insulate you from the problem. You are part of the machine. If you don't do your due diligence on the company that you set up with, you can fall flat on your face. It was my Icarus moment. I had a big network. I could partner with any different company I wanted out there. And it didn't matter. Like, as long as they would pay a decent commission, I'd do less and less due diligence as time went on. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of this, and I just got addicted to this, to making the money part, right? To selling, and I did less and less research on the people I partnered with. So the lesson to you is this: once you become good at this strategy, like I did, you can create demand for any offer type. It doesn't matter, high ticket, low ticket. You have a network or the ability to build a network. People are gonna, with stuff to sell, are actually gonna want you to work with them. They're gonna want to pay you up front. They're gonna give you really lucrative commission structures. They'll want to sell you on why you should be building their distribution network, or at least plugging their product into your pre-cultivated distribution network. You become like a hot commodity. So the thing is, if you see a red flag, bring it up. It could be anything. It could be in hindsight, it's like obvious that I should have had massive alarm bells ringing. But I got placated. People who are above you in money and stature can really try and explain things away. In my case, I was kind of like, I became a yes man. And I was like, well, it was enough to kind of put me aside. So the lesson here is, don't do that. Don't be a yes man. Do your due diligence and be careful with who you partner with. The wrong person, product, or company can put you in a situation you just cannot get out of. You don't have control over it. If you partner like that, and like it happened with me, once that guy ran off, like, it became a criminal activity and I got hit. There's no way, they couldn't explain my way out of it. It was just, oh crap, I'm stuck. It is what it is. So learn from my mistake. You have to keep your moral compass, especially the bigger you get. The more money you make, the more problems you're going to have. And this is one of those, like the saying says, this is a problem that could befall somebody. So if your spidey senses tingle, don't ignore them. All right. So you might be thinking, given my past, how can you trust me? Well, as you probably guessed, my experiences in building distribution networks for other businesses. In the past, I partnered with a bad actor and I got burned as a result. So as you probably guessed, I'm very selective with who I do business for now, who I build distribution networks for right now. I do extreme due diligence and I thoroughly screen who I partner with. This way I'm fully responsible and the buck stops with me. So I'm not just kind of going in blindly like I did before, or just being a yes man and being placated by basic level answers. I really do my extreme due diligence because I've learned a lesson that I never want to experience again. Prison is a bad place. It's a life-changing, For many people, it ruins their life. For me to be able to bounce back the way I have, to use the skills that I have, this is the first thing I did when I got out, is to build myself up again, rebrand my company, and get back to work. And I do exactly the same thing. I build distribution networks. I'm just real careful now, really careful. So I present everything to you transparently, which allows you to really evaluate this strategy for yourself. And so that way you don't have to trust me. You can trust the process. You can trust the framework. You can trust the plan. You don't have to trust me. I'm not selling you me, essentially. So I put everything on the line there. It's a very powerful method that you can follow, where you can create so much demand that I felt like it was my duty to warn you off the pitfalls. And like I said, it works for almost any type of business, whether it's small ticket or high ticket. The process is very simple. As you can see, anyone can do it. It just takes a little bit of work. And it works for all these industries: real estate, insurance, healthcare, wellness, local businesses, professional consulting, training, financial services, alternative investments like us. So also emerging markets like crypto and AI, customer care too, retail sales, auto sales and repair, software and app development too, e-learning, e-commerce services, more. And I know this because of all the different companies that have wanted to work with me, all the people that have worked with me. I don't do training per se. I don't have training programs for this, but everyone who's learned from me, that have actually gone away and built their own businesses, that have come back to me, a lot of them have gone into these different industries and sectors and actually become very successful. And so, it works. It's like I said, a very human-focused business model. So I think, and I hope you agree, that the most important thing that you could be doing with your time right now is actually building a distribution network of your own. It is to really build that network, that's something that you can leverage. People out there who will happily sell something for you. You can either plug a product through that network, or you can take that network and essentially lease it to a company and make money on both ends of that agreement. Really, really powerful thing to do, and you should be doing it. So look, that's it for the training. I kept my promise. I was very candid, very transparent with you. I hope you see the value there, and you take that model and you apply it to your own business, your own world. And I hope we kept that to 45 minutes. I don't think we did, but okay. I hope it was valuable enough for you to stay. If you're still here, clearly it was. So with that being said, there's a couple of places you can go just to learn more from me. For free, for example, is my YouTube channel. I'm growing it at the moment. I do podcast interviews. I also have a training program that I produced a little while back with the intention to sell it, but then decided not to sell it when I saw everyone else selling things. Training programs. I didn't want to actually become a guru. So I just kind of dumped it out there for free. So that's actually on there. It's like 50 episodes. They're pretty good. How to build a distribution network, how to build distribution channels. So that's on my YouTube channel, my podcast channel. And of course, we also have the interviews that I have with like early stage owner founders, affiliate marketing companies, and also network marketing brands as well. I like to learn more and more about everything to do with building networks and then how to leverage network effects, which is, as you can tell, kind of my bag. And don't forget about the book. The book is available, and you can get that. Like I said, it's generalized to really help you, but I kind of simplified things so you can learn how to either set up a business yourself, how to create your first distribution channel, and then kind of scale it from there. So that's the book, and it's available on Amazon. And so I think the cheapest I could put it on Kindle was like $1.99, so you can get the digital version real quick, instantly. Paperback is $12.99 and hardcover is $15.99. So standard pricing for books. So it's available for you on Amazon should you want to go there as well. So that's the Distroverse book. And of course, I showed you the app, right? So the Distro List app is available. Go to distrolist.app. And of course, you can filter 250 million influencers across Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Create your lists, build your army of influencers. And of course, all the analytics in there that you see, they're actually updated bi-weekly, really, really quick. So we do a complete update every 2 weeks. And when you start looking at people, anyway, I don't want to get too much into the technicals, but yeah, it's there, it's ready. You can use it. It starts from $97 a month. So if you feel like you want to start right now, go ahead, use the app. You can start building your list and applying it in your business. So, right, that, like I said, that was the end of the training. And now we're about to transition into the opportunity that I have for you, right? So that was, granted, I covered a lot there. I know I covered a lot there because I'm actually tired and I want to stop presenting right now. We covered a lot. We went through quite a bit. My voice is a little bit hoarse. You're probably thinking that was a lot to take in, but you probably get the concept. I'm hoping you got the concept. I'm hoping we really hit that home. And you understand the framework, the underlying framework that underpins the value of the concept itself. And you're probably thinking of all the different businesses that you could potentially partner with and all the influencers that you could find who have an audience that you could work with. And that's perfect. That's exactly what you should be thinking. You should be, if you have a business, you should be applying that to your own business. Or if you want to work for us, unfortunately, there's no training. If you want to apply this to your own business and you want some kind of coaching for how to do that, I don't have that for you. I haven't got a coaching program for that. I don't really want to. If you really want, you could email us or something. But even then, that's not really my thing. I don't want to help in that sense. But what I do have is an opportunity where you can work with us under our brand if you don't want to go away and build a business. If you want to just kind of work, kind of jump on a train that's already moving, you can do that and you can come work with us. And so this is really where we get into it. You have your two options. You can do this yourself, do it the hard way, the expensive way, the slow way, the lonely way in your own business. But very, very achievable. Or like if you just want to start making money today as a side hustle, you can work with us, which is kind of like the done with you, much easier, fewer mistakes, less expensive, much faster, and it's done together way, right? So that's really where this partnership opportunity, this job offer, if you will, this way in which you can work with us it becomes relevant. Now this is for serious people only who want to work with us. Okay, so this isn't for, like I said, it's not for business coaching, it's not for training. This is for if you want to work under the brand of Distro List and make some money with us. So serious people only, no time wasters, please. If you're looking for a flexible way to earn between 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 on the side as a side hustle, this is how you can start. Okay, I'm trying to talk about realistic earning potential here. I've talked about big with business, but if you're going to start and like you're in a job right now or you have a thing going on right now and you're like, I need some extra money, how do I double my salary? I can show you how to do that with us. There is an opportunity with us. It works. It's been tried. It's been tested. And you can join us and become a part-time distro agent. Now, we'll start you off slow and steady. It's very simple. I'll get you set up. We'll get you involved and get you educated on exactly what to be doing. And you can make as little money as you want or as much money as you want, really. The 1, 2, 3K per month is just a guideline. You could do absolutely nothing and make zero. You could do a tiny little bit of work and maybe get a couple of $100, okay? Or you can actually treat it seriously and make 1, 2, 3,000, 4, 5, 10,000 on a part-time basis. And as I said, we're going to offer a simple strategy where you can start earning the extra money immediately. And when you get good, you can actually transition into a full-time role if you choose, if you feel confident. Once you've got this thing on easy street, once you've understood the process and can kind of do it on autopilot, that's when you can really double down and actually become a full-time with us. And of course, full-time, you can earn, you can 10x the amount of money. And I don't say that word flippantly. You can really make a lot. I'm in the business of leveraging networks. I'm in the business of building business. I know how to make businesses make a lot of money. I know how to make a lot of money myself. And if you want to work with me, you can join me on that journey and actually, have benefit from kind of the spill effect and grow with our business. So like I said, this is for a self-employed, independent income opportunity. We don't pay you a salary. It's kind of like how you would understand a real estate opportunity where you work under their umbrella, but you are working independently. It's not a training course. There is no training program to pay for, but you will need money to invest in yourself. It's like you're not necessarily paying me, but it's like if you were to become a real estate agent, you'd invest in yourself, right? You'd buy stuff to help you do your job better. So that's really down to you. How much you spend on you is down to you. So if you love the training and you are intrigued about how this could work for you as working with us, then please click the button below. There's a couple of questions that we've put here to kind of help us qualify you, for you to qualify the opportunity. So if you want to just take the time to go through those, and then we'll share the details for the onboarding call which you can jump onto and hear about and understand the opportunity in detail as to what's on offer and how you can make money from that under our umbrella. So I hope everything was gravy for you. Everything was good, and you had a good experience here today. You enjoyed the training. And if you want to work for us, work under our umbrella, I look forward to seeing you on the next call. So please fill out the form below and continue through the process. Otherwise, I wish you all the best and every success if you want to take the information you've learned here today and apply in your own business. Hope you join the podcast. Hope you buy the book. Maybe hope you use the software. So all the best to you. Bye for now.